She's a very unique artist, and she has a plethora of talents also. We'll get into that later. But for now, Jessie, can you describe your work?
My work is deeply inspired by my love of flow. And to me, flow is the state of being in the moment. So my art reflects that with a lot of motion and colors of the sea and the ocean. And then my dancing, which I know we'll get to a little bit later, is also deeply inspired by what's called flow arts, which is the state of being completely enveloped in the activity that you're doing and kind of just losing track of time.
Can you tell me how you started?
I've been making art pretty much my whole life. My mom's an artist. My grandfather on my father's side was an artist for the Navy. So I just grew up in a household of arts and crafts, and I started getting into sculpting and did some wire sculpting in college. And then I found the medium that I'm primarily working in right now, which is acrylic resin. And I loved acrylic resin because it allowed me to work on a 2D canvas but still be able to get this 3D effect. So three-dimensional would be adding that third aspect to a piece. So a lot of times you'll see that in mixed media, where it's not just a flat surface that's being worked on, but the actual canvas is being taken out into a third dimension. I am definitely inspired by the sea. I grew up by the ocean. I love swimming. In my part-time, am a mermaid.
Oh, well, I'm sure everyone can put that on their resume.
I actually posed in the Rhode Island Merman and Mermaids calendar, which proceeds from that calendar I went to Biomes Marine Biology Center. And then my mermaiding expanded, and I just recently competed in the first round of Miss Mermaid USA. So we're waiting to hear for the state titles right now. So we'll see if I'm crowned Miss Mermaid Rhode Island, and then I would go on and compete for the USA title.
And I saw your picture. That I'm not sure if that's the one that they have. It's beautiful, and you're a winner.
Oh, thank you.
You have so many beautiful paintings. Is there a highlight to your career?
One of my favorite moments in my performing life was getting to dance for 2,000 audience members at Swing River Casino, and we got to belly dance on stage with some Las Vegas showgirls, and it was quite fun, and the costumes were beautiful.
That does sound like a great night.
It was a benefit for charity.
Okay.
So we were hired to be the entertainment. There's a series that means a lot to me. The series is called Azul. Azul in Spanish means blue, and it was inspired by my very first trip that I ever took to Mexico. When we were landing in the plane and we looked out the window, and what I had saw was this beautiful ombre of blues and turquoise and tans where the water was coming up onto the shore. And it stuck in my memory so much that when I came home, I just started to paint that over and over and over again. And that led into my fusing together the idea of flow into using the acrylic resin. So every piece is a little different. And the part I like the most about it, and how it really has influenced my entire body of work, is that you can't totally control resin. As it's being poured out, as you're working with it, it takes on a life of its own that could be influenced by the weather, the environment, if it's hot, if it's cold, if it's humid. All of the different parts react differently. So you have to go with the flow when you're working with it, and you're always surprised by what comes out. Back in 2018, we had a show called Ways of Working Water. There was 4 women artists. It was organized by Rachel Brass, which is a local artist here in East Providence, Rhode Island. And each of the 4 women showed water through a different medium. So for my pieces, they're high gloss. They showed a lot of the motion of water. We had another artist that worked in watercolors and showed the reflective quality. We had an artist that worked in oil and painted frozen ice and the reflections. And then Rachel Brass works in acrylic, and she does landscapes that almost look like they're being viewed through a rainy window. Beautiful. And it was a very powerful show to see all of the different takes on how you could show water, and to be able to be with those women who have really made a great career out of being an artist here in Rhode Island.
That's what I find interesting about art. We talked about you being a belly dancer, and that's interesting in itself, but there is a picture of you dancing with fire?
Yes. Yeah, so I am also a fire dancer. I actually got started dancing with a hula hoop first, not on fire. So it's always a good idea to learn how to spin the hoop before you light it on fire. But very quickly, as I was going to different fire spinning festivals, well, I should say hula hooping festivals, I saw fire spinners, and I knew that that's what I wanted to do. So I've been doing that for about 5 years now. And it's exciting.
That is exciting.
So the next class that's coming up is through Bristol Parks and Rec, and that's at the Pavilion at Bristol Town Beach.
Do you have any shows coming up?
So I will be vending at the Hope Artisans Market, which happens at the Hope Street Farmers Market every Saturday from May through October, from 9 to 2.
Are there any other Zoom classes, things like that, that you've been able to do since we've been in the house for about a year?
Yes, so when, before COVID started, I was teaching classes out of my home studio in Warwick. And then when COVID began, I started to move all my classes onto Zoom. And it's been great. We've been doing it for the whole year now, since the pandemic had started. And what we do is mail a kit with all the materials out to all the participants' homes, and they get the kit, they log on to the Zoom at the same time as everyone else, and I'm there to welcome them in. We do a little bit of chatting in the beginning and getting to know each other, and then we'll do the whole project together step by step. And then my favorite part, and I think it's the students' favorite part too, is at the end, everyone will try to flip their cameras or their laptops or their iPads around and show each other what they made. And everyone's so proud, and all the pieces are so beautiful, and then you get to see what all of the other artists made in the workshop, and then we chat a little bit more before we end it. But it's really been going well, and I now have students across the country, whereas before I would have only had students within driving distance of my studio. We have some regulars in California, Oregon, Iowa, and it's wonderful to get to see them and get to know them. And
that is fantastic. Do you have an online store?
I do. Currently I'm selling my art online through Etsy.
Okay.
So I have a bunch of pieces up in my Etsy shop, and then I also take commissions online as well.
Terrific. So what would you do from here? Do you have some aspirations for the future?
Aspirations for the future. Well, for this summer, I definitely want to get outside more. and offer a lot more outdoor classes. I also teach yoga, and I've been working on infusing art along with yoga and healing arts. So we just started up a brand new series called Zen Paint and Doodle, and it mixes mindfulness, meditation, along with art in a therapeutic form. So being able to take that outside, maybe infuse some yoga in with the art and the mindfulness. I can't wait to get back to in-person events as well.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
But I think I will keep both going, the virtual as well as the in-person. So it's definitely changed my business and my sharing my art teaching.